Hey, happy Tuesday. Hope your week is off to a great start. Been doing a lot of setup related things today. So I have been changing up a lot of my desk setups, getting ready for this stream, which is funny. I kind of lost track of time and realized it was time to get everything ready. And then there were a couple things I didn't have set up yet. So I moved some stuff around, got a laptop over here plugged into some camera stuff now that wasn't like that before. And yeah, I've been working on my main desk setup as well. I've got a new format we're going to be exploring soon where I'm going to be doing live video editing sessions, which I'm pretty excited about. So basically, I'll just bring people along like I'm editing a video for YouTube, and you can kind of see the behind the scenes of what all is involved with the actual video editing process, from importing all the files to setting up multicam. I'm also going to show how I've been using Gling some recently as a way to speed up video editing too. So I've got this whole video editing live stream set up that I'm not sure when I'm going to be doing those streams, but they'll probably just pop up whenever I'm doing video editing, and can also answer questions while I'm working on that too. So been working on a lot of setups, kind of getting different cameras set up, and also just getting it where I can go from one computer to the next and be able to do different types of projects as well. So that's been a lot of fun. I really like messing around with just all the different docking stations you see in the videos. I test all of those. I keep rotating them out and I keep making sure that they're all the best ones. So if any issues come up with them, I can let you guys know in those videos. Something I've been messing with this week as well is HomeKit. So HomeKit has been acting kind of funny ever since maybe it was Sunday. I went to try and AirPlay to my HomePods from my Apple TV, and it wasn't wanting to work quite right with my network. So I've got UniFi for pretty much everything around the house, and then I've got Apple HomeKit, so a couple different HomePods in different rooms. I got the big HomePods in my living room, and then around the rest of the house I keep the minis for using Siri and also just for listening to music through Apple Music. But for whatever reason, Philips Hue has not wanted to work with HomeKit for the last few days, and I'm really not sure why. So I've tried to restart the bridge. That doesn't seem to be working. I've tried to reset the network. The Unified Network actually had an update, and I put that on. That didn't fix anything either. So I'm getting pretty close to just resetting the Philips Hue integration with HomeKit and seeing if that fixes everything. I'm not really sure if that's going to do it or not. I've also had several different HomePods that say they don't want to connect to the Unified Network, which has been really strange because the iPads aren't having any issues, and the phone's not having any issues. So I'm not really sure why some of the devices wouldn't be working right. I think that there might be another thing I need to do on the Apple TV, but I've tried going back and forth from the Apple TV as the home hub and also using the HomePods themselves as the home hub. So if you have any input on HomeKit and Philips Hue, I'm definitely open to some help with that, because I feel like I've messed with it for a few hours and not really had any luck, which it's nice when it all works fine, but when those integrations stop working, it's super annoying. Another interesting thing I've been messing with, I got this alarm clock at the beginning of the year. So this is the Pavlok shock clock. And I was originally pretty apprehensive about it. I didn't really want to get it because it actually is designed to give you like a little shock to wake you up. So I've been having issues with the Apple Watch not being strong enough to wake me up, or it just allows itself to get silenced too quickly. So what's cool about this is there's all these integrations with Pavlok's app that you can use, where it makes it way harder to actually snooze an alarm. So you can have this actually vibrate as well if you don't want to use shocking. And I tested the shocking out. I didn't really like it, so I changed this to just using as vibration mode. But what's cool about the Shock Watch is you can actually set it up with their app where you print out a QR code, and then you can put the QR code in a different room, and you have to actually get up and scan the QR code if you want your alarm to shut off. Or I know, of course, you can always just rip the watch off if you are getting annoyed by it, but they even make this little thing that makes it kind of like locked to your wrist. So if you don't want to remove it on accident in your sleep, it has like a special latch on it, which I haven't had to use that. But you can do vibration mode. You can make it where you have to do a couple of jumping jacks before it'll stop vibrating, or shocking you as well. You can do pretty much anything with this. I think that you can also set it where you have to do a math problem or solve a puzzle on your phone. I found for me, just having the QR code in the other room was the best way to actually get up, take my phone and scan it and get up every morning. So this Shock Watch has been probably the best thing I've got in 2026 so far. I'm planning a full review on this at some point. It's a little different than most of the tech that we check out on the channel, so I haven't been exactly sure of what I want to do with this, but I think there's other settings you can use with the Shock Watch too. I think some people use it for behavior change, and you can set a button on the side where it'll actually shock you. Like you can manually shock yourself with it if you like eat a cookie and you're trying not to eat cookies. I don't know. I feel like that one will work super well for me because I want to be self-controlled enough to actually shock myself with it. But it feels like a light bee sting when it shocks you almost. I did it once. I didn't like it. You can change the strength of the shock too. So I don't know. This thing is pretty cool. I almost bought it a couple months ago, and then I tried the Fitbit. The Fitbit wasn't working for an alarm clock for me. And when I found out you could use this in vibration only mode, that's when I thought that the watch sounded like a pretty good idea. So anyways, been testing this. I think it was like 130 bucks, but it's definitely worth it to get out of bed every single morning and to get more time throughout your day. Next thing I wanted to talk about today is the monitor video from the LG 40U990A. Maybe that's what the model number was, but the ultra wide LG display. So that one is doing pretty well. It's getting quite a few comments and some traction on that video. And if you think I've forgot anything with it, or there's details about monitors you want me to put in future videos, please let me know, because right now I've got that giant 51-inch, I think it is, Dell. It's a 6K Dell monitor. I can try and look it up and see if I can find it, but all these monitor model numbers are really hard to keep track of. Like Apple just does the Studio Display. Hopefully they have the Studio Display 2 out soon, so that's pretty easy to keep track of. But the new one is Dell 6K ultra wide. I don't know if it's going to fit on my desk. I'm a little nervous that it's not actually going to fit. I also don't think they even sell it on Amazon yet. Let me see if I can find it on B&H. It's the Dell UltraSharp 51.5-inch 6K monitor, 120 hertz. Really excited for that one. But that one I'll probably get out on my desk. Hopefully this week I'll have it set up and start testing it. So I went back to my old setup. I've got the Apple Studio Display and the vertical monitor set up again. I've never had an ultra wide monitor before I reviewed that other one, and I was afraid I wasn't going to really like it that much. And the more I use the ultra wide, the more I like it. And now I'm kind of sad to go back to the dual monitor side by side setup. The resolution that I'm dealing with and the color accuracy on the Studio Display is better, but the color accuracy on the LG 6K or 5K 2K that I was using last week, for the last month really, that one was just fine too. So if you've got anything you want to hear about monitors in future videos, or also some more on a little bit of a budget, then we can talk about those as well. Hey, welcome, Mac Studio user. Love to hear that. That's what I've got too. The Mac Studio Stack video is also coming out in a couple weeks as well. I got it shot. I got a couple things I need to add to a few things that I've noticed after testing it a little bit more, and I think there's a different firmware update I need to put on it as well. But the Studio Stack has been a really great accessory for the M4 Max Mac Studio. It has a couple SSDs in it, a couple Thunderbolt ports as well. I'm running into a weird issue with Thunderbolt 5 though, and a couple docking stations. So I don't have any of them nearby me, or I'd show you guys, but there's all these Thunderbolt 5 SSDs that are finally starting to come out, but they have very high power draw requirements, and it seems like the more of them you plug into, like you can only use 2 of them with a Mac Studio, but you can also only use 2 or 3 of those with the Thunderbolt 5 hub as well, which has been kind of interesting because it's not even trying to pull data from all of them. It's just getting them to actually connect to the computer. It hasn't worked super well for me yet. So if you are buying the Thunderbolt 5 SSDs, you may run into some issues with how many of them you can keep plugged in at the same time, which may or may not be an issue, especially if you get an 8 terabyte one or a 4 terabyte one. You may only need 1 or 2 of them plugged in. But some of these new bigger SSDs, like the enclosure and the actual NVMe, both are having pretty heavy power draw issues on them. So I've been running into that. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to work that into this Studio Stack video, but I've got a new firmware update I need to put on it. Other than that, the Studio Stack has been awesome. The one I got came with a 1 terabyte NVMe in it and a 6 terabyte hard drive in it, which has been really nice for just keeping some stuff offloaded that I don't need to access very often. But I think I'm also about ready to take the 1 terabyte NVMe out of it and put one of my 2s or my 8s in. For whatever reason, I don't have any 4 terabyte NVMEs. All my 4 terabytes are actual pre-built SSDs, so I wish I had one of those. I've got a couple of 8s that I've tested over the years that are working pretty well. So yeah, the monitor video came out last Friday, I think, and then I've got some other new monitors coming in soon as well. So if you've watched my monitor videos and you don't like them, or you think there's more stuff I need to add to them, let me know. There's a lot that you can put in a monitor video. A lot of them have more features than I'm able to go into, but the Amazon and B&H listings do a pretty good job at talking about all the actual specs on them. So I try to focus more on how I liked using the monitor and anything cool about it, or things I didn't really like quite as much. I think we already talked a little bit about the new setups I'm working on. I do all my filming from this angle typically, and I've got a Rodecaster video that I've started running all my cameras into. It also acts as a multi-viewer, so I can see what all the different cameras see, make sure everything's recording, make sure audio's coming through. And then a lot of times I'll put my top-down camera on a screen in front of me so I can just use that shot, and it's nice and easy to get it framed up. So I've got another Rodecaster video, and I've set it up at my main desk, so we're going to have some live streams where I'm actually going to be editing videos. You can ask questions about how editing goes, or if there's other questions about the videos as we're working on them. So I'm excited for those videos. I think those will be a lot of fun. But I was using a computer setup over there and running everything kind of across the room, and I'm kind of switching it up. So now I've actually got a Thunderbolt dock on this desk, and it's all being powered from this computer. So whenever I'm shooting my typical videos, I'll probably just slide this computer out of the way and you won't even know it's there. And then for live streams, it's pretty handy to have the computer close by so you can be browsing the web or interacting with comments or whatnot. And also got the Prompter XL by Elgato that has been very useful for keeping all the tech specs up on the screen while I'm going through videos, because a lot of these different items have just a ton of detail that's you really want to make sure you get them all right. Another thing I've been building is actually a pedal board. So in a lot of the backs of my videos you can see the guitar wall. I've been using the Quad Cortex for 3 years now, maybe about 3 years, not quite. But I really like the Quad Cortex. The problem is anytime I take it to church to go play with, you gotta wire up a DI and power, and the Quad Cortex power supply is kind of a whole issue. So I've been wanting to do a pedal board setup for it, and I've been building that out today. I'm really excited for that. Temple Audio 17, Duo 17 board. I think I've got an old Nanook case that I'm going to throw it all in, but I haven't had a pedal board set up in a long time now. I've just been taking the Quad Cortex with me places whenever I go to play, and it usually lives on the desktop, so I'm kind of sad to not have the Quad Cortex on the desk anymore, because I think it looks really cool and it's really easy to just mess with the knobs on it. But Neural DSP has done a great job at improving the app for the Quad Cortex too, so you can control pretty much anything through the computer now that you could do, just by touching it before. So I think the computer app is going to make me not quite as upset that it's on the floor now. But if there's no other questions today or things on the chat, just feel free to send me a DM at any time, or send me a message, comment on any of the videos. I know I don't get to every single comment, but if there's anything I can answer, I always do my best to do.